So so first thing is full adder. So full adder has 3 input, A, B and carry in, and then it has 2 outputs. One of them is called carry out and the other is sum out. So you have 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 0 1 0 1 and then 1 1 0 1 1 1. So if you add these 3 bits, what you are going to get is 0 0, then 0 1 0 1, then 1 plus 1 is 1 0, then 0 1, then again 1 plus 1 is 1 0, 1 plus 1 is 1 0, and then this is 1 1. So this is the truth table of a full adder. So now sum output, if you do K-map, then you will get the expressions. Okay, so the expression for K-map, okay, let's write that. Maybe we have done this, but let us repeat. So you have A, B, C in, then you have 0 1 here, 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 0. Okay. And then so I am first writing for C out. So wherever you have 1, you put it there, 1. So there is a 1 here, then you have 5 6 7. So 5 is here, 6 is here, 7 is here. So if you group this, you can make 3 groups of 2 like this, and you can write the expression C out, a function of A, B and C in. You can write it as, this is A, B, A, C, or so this one is AB, this one is BC in, and this one is AC. So AB plus BC in plus AC. This way you can write. Alternatively, you can write this expression either of okay, so C out is 1 when both A and B are 1. Okay, so both A and B are 1, C out is 1. So that is basically A and B both are 1, then C out is 1. That is one case, which is basically this first case. And the second case is, so if you exclude the last 2 case, okay, so this is if you exclude the last 2 case, and remaining case, the case where C out is 1 is when you have C in is 1 and when A XOR B is 1. Okay, A XOR B is 1. A XOR B is 1 and C in is 1. Everybody, are you following what I am saying? If you are not clear, please ask. This way also you can write. So first thing I am saying is C out is 1 when both A and B are 1. So that is this case and this case. Okay, A is 1, B is 1, both cases. So C out is 1. Secondly, what I am saying is that there are two other cases where C out is 1, and that is when C in is 1 and only one of the A and B are 1. C in is 1 and A XOR B is 1. So A XOR B is 1 when either A or one of them is 0 and the other is 1. So that is what the second case is. Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah. So I think the implementation which you have shown is actually done in this manner. Okay, but you could implement in the first expression also. Now you can show this is equal to this. Okay, algebraically you can show it. The most simplified is what we get through KMAP, but you could this implementation has some advantage. Okay, so that therefore this is popular also. This particular implementation has some advantage. For example, if you want to implement a full adder using half adder, then you take use of the second implementation. Okay, so let me also show what is half adder. So a half adder, it has only two input. It's much simpler. So you have A, B, and then C out and S. So you have four cases, and then 0 plus 0 is 0, 0, 0 plus 1 is 0, 1, 1 plus 0 is 0, 1, 1 plus 1 is 1, 0. So that's it. Now if you look at S here for half adder, it's a function of two variable A and B, and it is equal to, it is 1 when these two cases, that is when A and B are different. So that is basically A XOR B. And C out as a function of B is when A and B are 1. Okay, so this is how you can implement it. So I am not even using KMAP because it is a two variable function only, so you will know pretty much all the combinations. Okay, so you can immediately directly write it down. So this is A XOR B. The definition of A XOR B is basically this truth table. Okay, the S column and A and B column, if you compare, that is the truth table for A XOR B, and if you look at the C0 column, that is the definition for AB. Okay, AND gate. So this way you can write it down. Now coming back to the full adder, so I can also write down the case for sum output, which I did not. So now let me do that. Uh, 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 0. So sum output, if you see, 0 1 1 0. Okay, 0, okay, 0 I don't need to write, 1 1 0, and then 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 I don't need to write, 1 0 0 1. Okay, even if I write also, there is no issue. So this is the entry into the KMAP, and you see that you can't make any group here, so you need to take them single by single. That's the only way possible. And your output A, B, C is basically all the minterms basically. So that is A bar, B bar, C in plus A bar, B C in bar plus A B bar C in bar plus finally you have ABC. So that is the expression. Now this expression you can write as by grouping. So you can group maybe the first two term and write it as A bar into B XOR Cin plus A into B XOR Cin the whole bar. So which you can write it as A XOR B XOR Cin. So this way you can write. And you know XOR function, we have already seen that it is associative. It satisfies the associative property. So you can either group A XOR B and then you can do XOR with Cin, or you can do B XOR Cin first and the result can be XORed with the A. So either way you do it, you will get the same result, and therefore any way you can group. So I am writing it like this. Now an interesting thing is, if you want to implement a full adder with half adder, so implement a full adder using half adder. Okay, so what is a full adder expression? You have S is equal to A XOR B XOR with the Cin, and C out is basically, I wrote it as A XOR B, either one is 1, and then Cin plus A dot B. So these are the two expressions. So if you want to use this, if you use this expression, you can implement it. So if you take a half adder, so this is our half adder, say just two input. The inputs are basically A and B. So it will produce a sum output which is A XOR B, and a carry output which is AB, Okay, so that's what half adder do. I have written here. So this is what I have written in the block diagram. Okay, so this thing I have represented using a block diagram. Now what I would do is, I'll take another half adder. To which I'll give this first half adder's output. So why I am doing that? I am taking A XOR B XOR with C, and then another input that I will give. Okay, so let me just replace this a little bit to the left. I will take another input which is Cin. So this half adder sum output will be what? It will be A XOR B, which is one of the input, that will be XORed with the Cin. Okay, so because Cin is one input, A XOR B is the one input. So whatever is the two input to the half adder, it will just XOR and give you. And what about the other input? The other input is going to just multiply this two. Okay, A XOR B will be multiplied with Cin. So that is what this term. So one output is this and the other output is this. So that will be A XOR B will be dot with the Cin. So now I need to do this expression. So for that I need to use a OR gate. So let me use that OR gate like this. So let me just write it a little more properly. Okay, C out. C in, and then this is our S. So S is equal to, write it more properly. Okay, S is equal to A XOR B XOR with C in. Okay, one input here it is A XOR B, another input here is C in, so I will get an XOR. So that is the sum output. And what is this output? It will be product of A XOR B into C. So one input is A XOR B, that will be dotted with the C. So half adder, what does it do? Whatever is the two input, it will be XORed. It will be XORed and it will be multiplied, or AND operation and XOR operation. So that is what we get. So here we have AB and A XOR B. Here we have A XOR B into C in and A XOR B XOR C in, and this is our sum output. And if I take these two terms AB and A XOR B dot C in, I will get a C out. So this is my full adder. So this is possible because we have written our C out. We have written our C out in a particular way. If I had written the earlier way, then this implementation is not possible. Okay, so this is convenient therefore. So if you implement a full adder using half adder, so this way you can do it. And that is what the circuit you have shown me looks like. Okay, I'll come back to that circuit which you have shown, and it has this structure to it. Okay, all right, so that is now done. Now we have half adder and full adder. So 4-bit ripple carry adder. So that is what your previous experiment was. So you have to take 4 full adder, or you can take one of them as half adder, one half adder, or let's take full adder. Okay, let's do both ways. So you take a 4 full adder. Okay, so this is a full adder. Okay, so let's take full adder itself, so that will be better. Full adder. So this is full adder 0, full adder 1, full adder 2, full adder 3. So once you construct a full adder, you can make use of that to add 2 4-bit numbers. So what is the procedure? What you do is each full adder has 3 input. Okay, so I am showing 2 here, and one of the input I will show like this. And it has one output. It has 2 output. One of the output I am showing here. Okay. And then this final carry I will show like this. Now what are the numbers we are going to add? We are going to add A plus B. A plus B means A and B are 2 4-bit numbers. So the operation that we are going to perform is A0, A1, A2, A3 plus, so each bit is A0, A1, A2, A3 for the first number, and second number similarly B0, B1, B2, B3. So you add first A0 and B0. So A0 and B0 you add. So after adding you will get S0 and some carry may be there, which I will call as C0. Okay, and C0 you give us carry in to the next block. Okay, so that will be added with, so here I will give 0 because I don't have any carry from the right side. Okay, when you add the LSB position, you are only adding A0 and B0, so nothing, no carry to be added with it. So I will give it 0, and after adding these 2 bits I may get a carry, so I have to add that carry to the next bit position, that is A1 plus B1 plus that carry. So I have A1 then B1 plus that carry, which is C0 coming from the previous bit position. So that will give me S1 and a carry says C1. So that C1 I will give to the next full adder, and here I will add it with the A2 and B2. Okay, so here I get S1 and here I will get S2 and here I will get C2. So C2 has to be added with A3 and B3. So A3 and B3, and then I will get S4. So this is S2. Sorry, I will get a S3. This is called S3, and some carry will come, which is sorry, here it will be C2 and then C3. So that C3 I will keep. So this is the 5-bit answer. When I add two 4-bit numbers, in general I will get a 5-bit number. Okay, if carry was not there, that 5th bit will be 0, otherwise it will be 1. So this you have done, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thus far you have done. So this was your previous experiment, 4-bit. This is called ripple carry adder because you are taking the carry generated in the previous, you are transmitting as input to the next block, just like the way we do normal addition. Okay, we add one particular position on the right side, and if carry is generated, that should be added with the next bit position addition. Okay, so that is the so for getting the final answer, this carry has to propagate from the first block to the second block, to the third block, and then to the fourth block. So the carry propagation takes some delay, and that will be the disadvantage of this way of implementing. Okay, later we will see there is another way of designing the adder, and that involves lesser computational lesser delay or larger speed. Okay, because carry need not propagate stage by stage like this. Now if you implement the full adder by using our half adders, as I have shown here, then you can see that half adder essentially is one XOR gate and one XOR gate and one AND gate. So that's what half adder is. Okay, so half adder is basically, half adder is you give two input, okay, A and B, and you will have sum, and sum is basically A XOR B, and carry is basically A dot B. So okay, these two expressions. So that is what it do. So one XOR gate and one AND gate is what is inside the half adder. So let's assume that for generating these gates, for generating this XOR operation and the AND operation, we have some delay. So let us say that that delay is let's for the moment assume that that delay is tau. Okay, so let's calculate the delay of the full adder. So if this delay is tau, this will also be tau, and here also another gate. For simplicity I am taking this OR gate also require a tau delay. So after giving all the three inputs to this gate, we need 2 tau time for output. This output to reach, it takes 2 tau, because it first of all require computation of A XOR B, which takes tau delay, and then after getting the result only you can perform the next step. Whatever is before that, it is an invalid result. So you need to wait for tau delay to get A XOR B. Then after getting it, you need another tau delay to get the A XOR B XOR C in, which is a valid result. So it takes 2 tau delay. Similarly, for getting the carry output, how much delay is required? You need tau delay to get A XOR B, another tau delay to get A XOR B dot C in, then another tau delay is required to get whatever is this expression. This expression is basically A XOR B dot C in plus AB. Okay, AB comes, one of the input AB comes in tau delay, but A XOR B dot C in comes after 2 tau delay. So therefore altogether we need to wait for 3 tau. Okay, this will require 3 tau. So if you implement a full adder with half adder, the delay is like this, 2 tau and 3 tau. Now if we are implementing it directly, then both will be 2 tau. Why? Because carry can be generated by the other expression, that is the first expression. If I generate using this expression, for taking the AND operation you have 1 tau, then OR operation you have another, so it will be 2 tau. But here XOR gate, then product, then add, so this will be 3 tau. So this is the one difference between the two. Okay, now let's assume that we have implemented using the second approach, that is here we get the result in 2 tau, here we get it 3 tau. Now after waiting for 3 tau, we have all the input ready here, and then you need an additional 2 tau. So 3 tau plus 2 tau, you will get the result here, and here you will have 6 tau. Okay, and after getting all the input here, you will have let me see. So because carry is coming little bit delayed, carry is coming delayed, so you don't need to wait for A XOR B. So the other result, so 1 more tau is only you need to require. Okay, so this addition will happen quickly. Okay, but for this block to get give right result, you need to wait for Cin. So after Cin comes, tau delay is required for sum, and 2 tau is required for getting the output carry. So let us now look at this. So we get 3 tau. So 3 tau plus tau only we need here, because A plus B, A or A XOR B will be happening quickly. Then one additional tau is required here, and whereas for getting C1 you require 2 additional delay. So that will be 3 tau plus 2 tau, which is 5 tau. Okay, now similarly 1 more tau, that is 6 tau. So this will be 5 tau plus 1, that is 6 tau here. And here it will be 5 plus 2, 7 tau. Here it will be 8 tau, and getting this you have 9 tau. Okay, so if Tau is the delay of the half adder, and if you implement the full adder using half adder, this will be the way the delay is going to be. So you can see that the delay is of 2 tau is introduced by every full adder in the block, and it is propagating with a 2 tau delay. Each full adder is introducing 2 tau delay. The first one take 3 tau, so total delay of a 4-bit adder, total delay of a 4-bit ripple carry adder. Okay, I don't need a bracket here. Ripple carry adder is basically the biggest delay is for C3, so that will be the total delay, which I can write it as 3 plus n minus 1 into 2 tau. Okay, or I can say n bit adder. I am writing it in a more general way. Now you substitute for 3-bit for 4-bit, when n is equal to 4, delay is what? Delay is equal to 3 plus n minus 1 is 3 into 2 6 tau, so which is 9 tau. So that's what we are also telling here. So this will be the way. So as n increases, the delay is proportionally increasing, right? It is proportional to n, so which is undesirable. For example, in a computer, the register size is around 64-bit now, right? Most of you will be using a computer which is 64-bit, which has 64-bit architecture or 64-bit registers. So its ALU will be 64-bit. Earlier it used to be 32-bit. At that time the ALU used to be 32-bit size. So when you add these two numbers, and if n is equal to 64, what will happen? So it will be 64 into 2 plus 1. So you can also write it as this formula. You can also write it as you can write it as 2n plus 1 tau. This way also you can write. Okay, so if you multiply it, 2 into n, so that is 2n, and then minus 1 into 2, that is minus 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So 2n plus 1. So if n is equal to 64, 64 plus 64, that is 128. 128 plus 1, 129 tau. 129 tau. Okay, so which is a huge delay, and that is a drawback. So to overcome this drawback, we need a different circuit. So that circuit is called look ahead carry adder. Carry look ahead. So instead of waiting for the carry to propagate and reach at a later most significant bit, why not generate this carry which is required at this bit by some additional circuitry there itself. So that is the idea here. Again, in order to see this, I need to go back to this particular diagram. I am going to give some names here. Okay, so let me first of all redraw that. So I have a half adder, and I am giving a, okay, so here I am going to say this is AI and BI. Okay, and this is going to give me one term which is AI XOR bi. Now I'm going to call this term as pi. Okay, some name I'm going to assign. Okay, so let me take it a little more down. And in the second half order, so this is half order 1, half order 2. Okay, I am giving C I minus 1. This is a carry from the previous position, so I will call it a C I minus 1. And then this is going to okay, so let me also do one more modification here. Okay, so this one we'll call it as SI. SI is basically AI XOR BI. With that I am doing XOR with the CI minus 1. Okay, AI XOR BI XOR with the CI minus 1. And then I have a carry output of the half order. I am showing this way. So this will be what? This will be my CI. AI plus BI I am doing, and okay, so let me name it okay, so this will be basically AI dot BI. So I am going to name it as GI. Okay, I am going to give this name GI. Now what I want to do is basically take this one and this one. So what is this? This is basically pi dot CI minus 1. Pi dot CI minus 1. Okay. So then I am going to take this and this. So there is an OR gate which is going to give me, okay, so this is my CI. So CI minus 1 is coming. So now let me put it in a box to make things clear. This is my full order implementation using half order. Same circuit, only thing is that I am going to call with the different symbols here. So same thing which I have used above. Each of the block, you see, it has two input from above, right? There are two input from above, one input from the right side and one output from the left side, one output downward. Same thing. So what is inside the block? I am now showing it explicitly, and the signal at a different in between point I am going to call it as PI and GI. Okay, so now so if it is so, I can write so this final expression I can also write in terms of PI. So this expression is basically PI XOR. So this SI is basically PI XOR CI minus 1. And similarly, this output here is basically Pi into Ci minus 1. So this will be product of Pi and Ci minus 1. Here it is XOR of Pi and Ci minus 1. And here you have Ai, Bi, and finally you have Ci. So now I would like to write two equations, which is the equation for Ci and Si. So keep the circuit in mind. Okay, so Ci, our intention was to generate this carry at a particular point. So Ci, what was the expression? Ci is basically OR of Gi plus Pi Ci minus 1 is equal to Gi plus Gi plus Pi Ci minus 1. So this is the main equation to generate a carry. Okay, so now C0 is 0 because first bit when you add you don't have any carry, but for adding the next bit position we need a carry. Okay, so what we can say is that C1, if I write, it will be G1 plus P1 C0. Okay, G1 plus P1 C0. Now C0 is 0, so you could write this as G1 itself. Okay, now if I go to C2, C2 is what? C2 is according to this general formula. Okay, so this is carry generation. By looking ahead. Okay. Now G stands for generation and P stands for propagation. Okay, so let's write. So C2, if I put, it is G2 plus P2 C1. Now C1 is what? G1. So I can write it as G2 plus P2 G1. Okay. Similarly C3. C3 is what? C3 is basically G3 plus P3 C2. Now C2, I have the expression here. If I substitute it, sorry, G3 plus P3 into G2 plus P2 G1, which is G3 plus P3 G2 plus P3 P2 G1. And final carry is our C4 in 4-bit order. So that will be what? So that will be G4 plus P4 C3. Now if I substitute G4 plus P4 into G3 plus P3 G2 plus P3 P2 G1. So this expression, if I write, it will be G4 plus P4 G3 plus P4 P3 G2 plus one more term, which is P4, P3, P2, G1. So this way I can generate this carry instead of waiting for it to ripple from the first LSB position. I don't need to wait for it, but I can just generate it each bit position using this expression. Now let me substitute. So what is G1? G1 is basically A1 dot B1. Okay, so you can interpret this equation. Okay, you can interpret this equation, this generic equation, in the following manner. There are two ways carry can come at a particular bit position. Number one, it is generated at that position. That happens when both bits are 1, and when you are adding both bits which are 1, then carry is generated, because it is just an AND operation of those two bits. Or it could be propagated from the previous position. Okay, so P for propagation. When will it propagate? You need to have a carry input coming into that particular bit position, and that carry will be propagated to the that particular position only if one of them is. So carry input is added to one of the bit which is 1. Okay, either A is 1 or B is 1. So PI is basically a XOR operation of the two bits. If one of them is 1, then only the carry input will be propagated to carry output. So either both of them are 1, that way carry can be generated, or carry input which is coming to that particular bit position will be propagated to the next position if one of the bit AI or BI is 1. Okay, so carry can come out as 1 in two different ways only. Either it is generated at that bit position, or it is propagated from the previous position. So that is basically the idea. So G1 is generated case because C0 is always 0, so there is no propagation from there. Whereas C2 will be 1 either by generation there or by propagation from the earlier generated. At the G1 position it is generated and then it is propagated. So in this way I can write for any bit position. Say for example, if I want to know, if I continue like this, then I want to know, say for example, say 8-bit order, and what will be the expression? It will be either generated at the 8th bit position, or it might have been generated at the 7th position and then propagated by the 8th position. So that is generated at the 7th, propagated to the 8th position. Or instead of that, it could be generated at 6th position and then propagated by the 7 and 8. Okay, that is another way. Or it could be generated at the 5th position also, and then it is propagated by 6, 7 and 8 position. Okay, so generated at the 5th position, and like that you can continue. The last possibility is it is generated at say first position. Okay, generated at the first position, then propagated by P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8. So this way also it can happen. So there are lots of ways carry can come at the 8-bit position. Now the thing is that how can it speed up the calculation of 4-bit or n-bit order? Now if you calculate the delay of C, if it is n-bit, so for n-bit, let's consider first of all the case of 8-bit. Okay, so to get to the C8, how much time we have to wait? Okay, first of all, after getting say so if you have G8, P8, P7, all this thing, G1, G2, G3, so all you require is you need G1, G2 up to G8. So you need all of this. Similarly, you require P2, P3, etc. up to P8. So if these things are available, then what you need to do, just need to take a AND operation. That will take, AND operation will require 1 tau, and then OR operation will require another tau. So you, if G1 and or all GIs and PIs are available, we require additionally we require 2 tau to generate the carry. Okay, so let me just write that. If all GIs and PI are available, then 2 tau is the additional delay for generating the carry or final carry. So generation of the final carry determines the delay of the in-bit order. So for generating the final carry, what we are saying is that if you have all the GI and PI available, then you can you only require additional 2 tau to generate the carry. So now how much time is required to generate GI and PI? What is GI? GI is basically where GI is basically what? AI dot BI, that is GI. And what is PI? PI is basically PI is basically AI XOR PI. So all these GIs and PIs can be generated quickly. All you need is 1 tau delay. So this will require only 1 tau. So what is the total delay? First to generate GI and PI, that will require tau delay, and then to implement the final carry output, you just need to do a AND operation, that will require another tau. So total 3 tau delay, and finally an OR operation, that will require 3 tau. So therefore the delay required for generating the final result using an n-bit look ahead carry order. Okay, LAC is look ahead carry order. I mentioned that. Or carry look ahead order. Okay, so you can also call it LAC. Look ahead carry or carry look ahead, both ways you can say. So total delay that is required is, first thing is GI and PI, they can be parallelly generated, one need not wait for the other. When A and B are XORed same time, you can generate A and B AND operation. And then additionally we need a AND operation with GI and PI, and then OR operation of all the terms is 3 tau. So 3 tau is the only delay requirement for generating the carry at any stage. Okay. Now coming back to the original circuit, that is n-bit adder. So instead of carry propagating, if carry is supplied there with every carry term is generated and supplied in 3 tau delay, so the C2 will also be generated and supplied in 3 tau delay instead of 7 tau, and then one additional tau will be required for generating the sum delay. So total delay is going to be 4 tau. So in carry look ahead adder, what happens is that generation of the carry will be happening in 3 tau delay, but the sum will take some more. So let me just draw the circuit diagram again. So here you have this is 0, so it is already available. So say A1 or A0, B0. Here how much delay is required? The amount of delay required here is basically 2 tau. Just like before, it is 2 tau. So this is half adder, full adder 0. So here 2 tau delay is required, and then next bit position we are basically adding A1 and B1. So here we need to supply our C0, but C0 will be supplied by not from there, it will be supplied by a circuit which will be taking the same AI, A1 and B1. Okay, so it will require A0 What are the input required to generate the carry here? We require 4 input, basically A0, A0, A1, B0, B1. You give, so this is carry generation circuit. Okay, so this will generate the carry, and it is not waiting from previous stage. And how much delay will be required for is, first of all, generation of GI and PI 1 tau, so it will take 3 tau. It will take 3 tau here, and then by the time A1 XOR B1 will be computed already, and then an additional 4 tau will be required here, one more additional tau. So this is our full adder 1. So now let's go to the third position. So you have full adder 2, to which we give A2 and B2. Now here also we require carry, that is our C1. Okay, I think I made a mistake. So here actually only A0 and B0 is only required. For generating C0, I only need A0 and B0. Only A0 and B0, because if you look at C, okay, yeah. So here I have written it as C1. So I am using two different. Okay, so let me call it as C1 then. This is C1 and this is what I will call as C0. Okay, so I should have taken C0 onwards, and okay, so it's a different way. So either you can call from 0 to n-1, or you can call it as or you can call it as okay, so let us call this, so this is C0 and this is C1. So here C1 is basically GI only, so that will only require ANDing operation, so you don't need 3 tau, it is only tau. So this will be tau and this will be 2 tau. Okay, so the next case, you require A0, sorry, A1, A0, B1, B0. So these are carry generation. Okay, carry generation, and that will generate your C, and that will require 3 tau. So generally 3 tau is the time, but only for the first generation it is tau, because the previous carry input is 0. Okay. Then here, okay, here we will have 4 tau. Okay. Now if I go to the last position for 4-bit adder, it is full adder 3. So what is the input? A3 and B3, and here I need okay, so here it is C2 and then C3 I need, and this carry input generation I need the earlier all 3-bit carry generation. So I have 3-bit from A0, A1, A2, A3 and B0, B1, B2, B3, B0, B1, B3, A0, A1, A2. So this is A2. So again I will get in 3 tau I will generate this carry, and then I will have output in one more additional tau. So only 4 tau. Earlier how much it was? 9 tau was the delay. Okay, so I need a final carry also. If I am generating it separately, that will be available in 3 tau. So there will be a carry generation circuit to which you give all the 4 input of A and B, and so that will be generating for me final carry just in 3 tau. So that is look ahead carry adder. Both A and B are given. So here one problem I made is that the way I have named it, so in comparison with the expression, they are not matching actually. So for example, I wrote G1 as A1 B1. So my first bit, it is assumed that it is A1 B1, but here I have written as A0 B0. So I think I need to correct that to match both. So let me do that. So this is A1 B1. So similarly I would call this as okay. So everywhere I need to change now this. Sorry for this confusion here. So this is 3 and this will be 4 according to my expression. So either I should change my expression back to this form, or I should change this figure to correspond to the expression. So let me change this figure. And this is also A1 A1. And then here I will have A2 B2. Then here I will have A1 A2 B1 B2, and here I will have A3 B3. Sorry, A3 B3. And here I will have A0 A1, so not A0, so that is again wrong. A1 A2 A3 B1 B2 B3. Okay, and this is A4 and B4. A4 and B4. So here my addition is basically A plus B, which will be A1 A2 A3 A4 plus B1 B2 B3 B4, and that will give you S1 S2 S3 S4, and there will be a carry which I will call it as C4. Yeah. So this is way. So this is not ripple carry adder. This is look ahead carry adder. Why? Because we are not waiting. So this fourth bit position is not waiting for carry to propagate from the first position. Fourth position is generating the carry input with a carry generation circuit, which will only take 3 tau, and you get the carry input here, and then you add it, and you will get your sum in additional tau, which is 4 tau. So 4 tau is the time, total time required to get the final output, and this is irrespective of the number of bits. So even if it is 64 bit, earlier it used to be 129 tau, now it is 4 tau. So it is independent of the number of bits. Now what is the price that we need to pay? The price that we need to pay is the additional carry generation circuit, and the carry generation circuit become more and more complicated as you increase the number of n. So you see that I have written here for 8-bit addition. So the carry generation circuit, you see you need an AND gate with 8 inputs. So if I want to implement this C8 carry generation, I need an AND gate with 8 input. So let me just show this C8 just one case, okay, and everything else is similar. So most significant position carry generation is the most difficult. So if it is 8-bit, 8th position carry generation is more difficult. So C8 generation. This is just for you to see how it is generated. So that will give you some clarity. Basically we need to implement this expression. So first thing is generating all GI and PIs, because in this expression we have all GIs and PIs, G1 to G8 and P1 to P8. So the inputs will be so what I will do is I'll just directly generate using XOR gate. So AND gate will generate so you have AND gate that generates your, this is G8. So for generating G8, what I need A8 and B8. Okay, so this is better. And same input I take, give it to an XOR gate, that will generate my P8. Okay, so now next I have A7 and B7. If I directly give to AND gate, I will generate G7, and then if I give to XOR gate, I will get P7. So this is better. So this way I can generate all GIs and PIs. And then finally I will go to the LSB, where my inputs are A1 and B1, and then if I give it to an XOR gate, so this will be my G1 and then P1. P1 I said we don't require because but even if it is there, it's okay. So all GIs and PIs are generated this way, and then let's go to the C8 expression. So the first term is G8. First term is G8. So you just take out G8 directly. So that is available. That is directly connected. Second term is P8 into G7. P8 dot G7. Okay. So that is here. P8 you take out, and then G7 you take out, and this will be a 2 input AND gate. So that is also now made available. The next term is P8, P7, G6. P8, P7, G6. So P8 is here, P8, P7 is here, and the G7 somewhere it will come from here. So I am just drawing it. So I am putting P7 here. I have not, sorry. this will be G6. Okay, I can show G6 similar way, but for convenience I have not done. So you will require a 3 input AND gate. So now this has to continue till the last term. So the last term is basically contains 8 inputs. So I need a very big AND gate. Very big means I have 8 inputs to accommodate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and one of them is G1. Okay, G1 is already here. G1 is already here. G1 is already here, and then P2, P1, all of this. So next is P2, then P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8. And all that you need to do finally is just to give this all input to a OR gate with a lot of inputs. And so that is your C8. So the point, the major point to understand is all GIs and PIs require a tau delay operation, and once you have GIs and PIs, because they are generated parallelly, another tau here, another tau here. So C8 is evaluated in 3 tau time. Okay, is it clear how the look ahead carry add up? So it has a massive carry generation circuit as the number of bit increase, but the advantage is we are doing it quickly. We don't need to wait for carry to ripple from section to section. We are doing it in 3 tau units of time. Earlier we took the time which is proportional to n, right? 2n plus 1, that was the time that was taken earlier. So 2n plus 1. So you can compare for 8-bit 2n plus 1 will be what? So delay comparison for C8. For C8 generation, this delay comparison for ripple carry, it was 2 into 8, that is 16 plus 1, 17 tau. Look ahead carry order, carry look ahead order, it is 3 tau. So 17 tau and 3 tau, it's a huge change, and this is for 8-bit, and the difference is going to be much greater if you go to 64-bit, but of course the circuit is also going to be very, very complicated.